Good morning. I'm going to be completely transparent, as you all know me to be, and I am nervous today. There are a lot of people, a lot of familiar faces, a lot of old faces, and I say that with a lot of love and enduring. How about familiar? There you go. There you go. Thank you. Well, I want to welcome you. For those that may not know, I'm Jeff Tawney. I'll be your platform assistant today. As always, we want to begin with our mission is that we are a vibrant community growing through spiritual practices and love. And we want to welcome you this morning. If you all take a moment and silence your cell phones, that would be awesome. And we want to begin with our opening affirmation. I would ask that you join me as we say, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good. This is Unity's foundation principle. One presence, one power, one life living through and as each one of us. This morning, we get the pleasure of hearing our own, and I won't say old Clare, Reverend Clare Austen. How about our own and familiar Clare Austen this morning, and her talk titled, Comfort and Uncertainty. Our song leaders this morning are Sally and Karen, and music is provided by Mike Swain and Scott Jameson. Our chaplain today that will be doing the reading will be Al, and he'll be providing a reading for us in the opening prayer. But before Al comes up, let's welcome Sally and Karen with our songs. And Scott.
Good morning, all. Today's reading is a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling, and I beg Kipling's forgiveness for editing his work and removing the sexism from the last line. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, yet don't look too good nor act too wise. If you can dream and not let dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth that you have spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop down to build them up with worn-out tools. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and not lose the common touch, and if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, and all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill each unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and you will be God's love on earth when day is done. Let us pray. God is peace. God is the peace of the deep woods. God is the peace of the tranquil mountain lake. God is the peace of a starry sky set over an evening desert. God is the source of our peace, as the mother is the source of peace for an infant sleeping in her arms. And I am that peace, the peace that passes all understanding. And as this is true for me, I know it is true for each of you. From this place of peace, we remember who we are, a family of love and joy dedicated to spiritual practices. Like all families, we have our disagreements, but when we do, we remember the parable of the loving Father that Reverend David spoke about last week, and all of Jesus' words about forgiveness. Though people come and go, we know that the only true source of peace is found in the silence, and that peace is eternal and unchanging. I bless our board, I bless our musicians and all the volunteers that make this service possible every week. I bless our speaker, Reverend Clare. I release this prayer into universal mind, knowing that it is already done, and so it is. Amen.
So good to see all of you today. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Any wish your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. Whoa. Seeing so many familiar faces here that I haven't seen in a very long time this morning. I'm so delighted. My heart just overflows. It does feel a little strange being up here. My heart's pounding. My hands are a little sweaty. I was senior minister here. For anyone, it looks like I know everyone here, but if you're here for the first time, I was here for 12 years, and when I retired, my husband Rick and I, we traveled for a few years, and then we lived in Tucson for a few years, came back to Spokane about a year and a half ago. And we were so delighted to be back in this community. Both here at Unity Church, but also just back in Spokane with so many friends, you know, with a true community that you can rely on when you need one. And that's, I think, what people in the world need the most these days, is community. Thank you, Sally. I found Unity teachings in my early 20s. I feel very blessed for that. It's over 50 years ago. I just turned 71 yesterday, by the way. Can't read my words. I often give thanks when I look back. The first Daily Word magazine that I ever saw was given by a neighbor of ours to my mother to read, because she thought she would find it different than the church that my mother grew up in, which was pretty staid and traditional. And I read that Daily Word, and I really haven't ever stopped hungering for the messages I found there. It empowered me in so many different ways. I'm ever so grateful for all the people that I've been privileged to know and work with in the Unity movement. Not only here, my family in Spokane, but 2 other ministries that I served before I arrived here on your doorstep in 2001. both of those in Missouri, and I still have lovely friends from that experience. But also, I've been made more aware of it in the last couple of weeks again. People at Unity Village, people in what's now called UWM, Unity Worldwide Ministries, that supported me, that I worked with, I was on the board of directors with, that really lived the life and continue to inspire me to be the kind of person that really lived the principles. That's been important to me. I know that there's been a lot of uncertainty in our spiritual community. And today I want to be sure that our hearts are open and that we bless Bonnie Barnard, who's been the minister here, on her way to whatever is next for her that gives her joy. And we just open your heart and bless her today. The power of love, and I really mean that, the power of us giving thought and loving someone from afar is one of the things that first touched me about Unity. For each of us and for the community that is online here at Unity Spiritual Center, Spokane, we have been encouraged through all the speakers and all the books and all the people that have influenced our lives to draw from that deepest well of love in our hearts. And today we send that love to Bonnie. And we also envision it for ourselves and this community. For each one of you sitting here, you are blessed by the energy that's in this room today. I assure you, even after all these years, when I need inner guidance, like signing up to do this talk, I still turn to those very basic Unity principles that I learned so long ago. And that's what I want to encourage all of us to do today, as individuals and as a community, as we once again go through a time of change that can be joyous and it can be difficult. It can be happy and it can be sad. I recently picked up a copy of a book co-authored by Oprah Winfrey and Arthur C. Brooks. It's entitled Build the Life You Want. Have any of you heard about that or picked up a copy? Oh, we got a couple. There we go. Now, I want to be really clear. I didn't read the book. I did look through it, and it now sits on my pile. Who here has a pile? Good. In a quick, just thumb through, Build the Life You Want, I noticed one thing that really stood out for me. The authors wrote, "Be grateful for the bees, not just for the honey." Now, I have to admit, my first thought when I read that reminded me of a day that my brothers and I were out in our back 40. Actually, it was probably a back half acre. And we ran into a honeybee hive in an old apple tree. And we started to run, but they followed us. And my brothers are twins. They're 3 years older than I, and they could run a lot faster. I came in the house with bees in my hair, and I'm the only one that got several stings. But when I thought of that, I thought, we all have stings. We all sometimes can't run fast enough. We have moments of pain and things that we want to run away from. We have things that hurt that we don't really want to tell anybody about. We have moments when we feel scared. I was a little scared when I signed up for this talk today. But all of our greatest gifts to deal with any pain or discomfort come from the Spirit of God. If you want to call it that, you want to call it, the divine universe. Sometimes those stings feel like loss or failure, but they teach us about the value of being in a community, of having friends or mentors. And we can always turn, when you're in a spiritual community like this, you can always turn to those spiritual principles and remind yourself, if you haven't picked up a daily word, if you haven't been, doing your meditation or prayer for a while, go back, because it's always my fears that send me back to my roots, send me back to that first daily word, and gives me wisdom and really supports me in going a little deeper, or you might say a little higher, in my spiritual understanding. In order to embrace the difficult moments, the stings in life, we will need to see that happiness and unhappiness, we'll need to see them differently from each other. We take a moment and think about this. Happiness is not always the right goal. And unhappiness is not always the enemy. As we say in Unity, good can come from anything, from anywhere, from any difficulty. The point that I believe Oprah and Mr. Brooks are making is that each of us can envision a rich life in which we not only enjoy delicious honey, but can also appreciate the bees that are responsible for it. For it's the stings that make us grow. They make us shift in our mindset. And if we're awake, those difficulties, those bumps in the road, create for us a whole new way of life, full of previous unimagined opportunities. I have a few bees for you today. I don't have a jar of honeybees up here, don't worry. During this transitional time here in this community, we must be the love. We must be kind to one another. And let us not forget to be prayerful. I know how easy it is to go for long periods of time and forget that we need to reconnect. We need to call on those principles, that Spirit of God, whatever words you put on it. And maybe most challenging of all those bees, is to be forgiving. Whether it's your partner, your children, your parents, your co-workers, people that you meet here at Unity, we always have opportunities, if we take them, to be forgiving, which means you give. You can give away whatever you've been holding, and you can give away whatever energy you've been giving, maybe unconsciously, to that person. It is our beingness that counts right now in the life of this church. What we are thinking and feeling from moment to moment is going to determine three things for us individually, but also for us combined as a community. One, what we're thinking and feeling can always change the quality of your life. And when we're down, we need that. We need to know that it's possible for a change to happen. Two, we're going to discover in this process that the effectiveness of this spiritual community is determined by how we're thinking and feeling in this time and what we're willing to do. And third, our individual and collective contribution to the spiritual consciousness of our planet That's always been something that's been important for me, is to realize that we're not just growing spiritually so that we have a better life. We grow and change our ideas and thoughts, and we get rid of all of the things we're holding on to that do damage to our minds and hearts. We do it for everyone, for the worldwide community. I know many of you know the names Myrtle and Charles Fillmore. They were the founders of Unity. And they continue to this day, they're long, long gone, but to teach us that we always have access to that one mind of God. And if we are troubled or struggling with change here in our church or in any part of your life, take time to be still, notice your breath, feel yourself calm down, and be sure that you're not pushing away any uncomfortable feelings. Because that's the way almost to cement them to you if you try too hard just to push something away. Embrace them, for even difficult feelings can be that map, that pointer to the way for your best self to arise. So whether you are new here today or you were here long before I arrived back in 2001, that was the first time I arrived here, I believe you can count on this ministry. You can rely on the history that is here and the people that are here. If you need to, come in the door. Make a phone call to someone that you would like to talk to. I think this ministry has such an amazing history. And the many, many people that are here are the recipients of that history, of what Charles and Myrtle Fillmore did, and many ministers over the decades. So we're going to look at each other today with joy and love in our hearts. I'm going to ask you just to estimate how many years would you guess you have been here? How many years have you been part of this congregation? Now, if you've been part of this congregation for 40 or more years, will you please stand? And if you can't stand, just raise your hand. I say to you, this ministry gives thanks for you, for your consistency and your love and prayers. If you just stood, just stay seated, because I'm now going to ask anyone who's been a part of this ministry for 30 or more years. Will you stand? This ministry gives thanks for each one of you and what you have brought here. How about 20 years? More than 20 years. If you've been here more than 20, please stand. How about 10 years? Been here more than 10 years. Wow. How about more than 5 years? You know, it really is interesting to see how many stood in the first part of this and how few are brand new. And how about less than 5 years? Less than 5 years. Wonderful. This ministry gives thanks for each of you. Now that we've had a chance to really see each other, I'd like to bring us all together and feel some of that pulsing energy here in the room. We've all been here varying lengths of time. We have different backgrounds, we are different ages, and with all our many talents and abilities that we brought to this community. Let us take a moment to prayerfully and joyfully celebrate this morning with a song. So Rick and Michael, they're going to sing the chorus and one verse of the song Weave. I know many of you know it. And then they will invite you to join in, and we'll sing the chorus twice through together as a family. This has been one of my favorite songs for a very long time because it speaks of the energy, what happens when we come together. Take it away.
Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. We are many textures, we are many colors, each one different from the others, but we are entwined with one another in one great tapestry. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love.
Just a few more thoughts on the change that is happening here. William Bridges, who writes about transitions in corporations mostly, but he says that when there is any change, large or small, such as the leaving of home, the birth of a child, or the loss of a loved one, there's always a moment that is the end to the old and the beginning of the new. This moment, this transition between the old and new, is what Bridges calls the in-between of the neutral zone. We are definitely sitting in a neutral zone. Transition is the time and place of not knowing, and that can be scary. The end of the old does not necessarily mean ending traditions or ways of doing things, or relationships, or certainly spiritual practices. The beginning of the new may embrace bringing forward what is loved, cherished, and comfortable, but also embracing and accepting new ideas and new people. In his book, Bridges describes the moment the new beginning occurs is when people develop the new identity, the experience and the energy, and discover the new sense of purpose that makes change begin to work. So that's our job, to sit in the midst of change and to love one another, to weave what we have here into what's coming next for us. I can assure you that love is always the answer. go to the Bible, go to the great scriptures of all around, from all the religions around the world, love is always the answer. Love and patience will show us the way through any hardship, anything that feels tough for us to do. I'm going to close with a story. I may have told this before, but it's worth saying again. A traveler crossing the Himalayas during a winter storm takes refuge at a mountaintop inn. After a brief rest, the traveler tells the innkeeper that he must continue on to his desired destination. But the innkeeper suggests that the winter storm continues to worsen, and perhaps he should spend the night instead. But the traveler says, "Though the storm is fierce, I know I will find my way, for my heart is already there." This is a new beginning, and our heart is here. It's just holding to that, knowing that. And our future is calling. The rest of us, our bodies, our activities need to follow. Take a deep breath. And let's just spend a moment in meditation. Breathe deeply. Just feel the connection, the love, the joy that is literally sitting all around you. In these chairs, in this building. It's so good. It's so true. And it is so deep. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore expressed the importance of learning to release, to let go, especially our fears, our hurt, our anger. When things get challenging, difficult, heartbreaking, those are the moments we must call upon that inner good. That fount of healing and all the expressions of love that we see in our everyday world. We sit here today in the stillness so that we can feel a greater intimacy with the infinite being of God. What we do now will change the world. What we do now in the life of this ministry will change the world. We know that in joy. We know that is the truth. And we just give thanks for the Spirit of God that is the life in every moment, expressing through us. And so it is.
And now this is our time of giving. In the words of a Karen Drucker song, we are the heart, we are the hand, we are the voice of Spirit on earth. And who we are and all that we do is a blessing to the world. We share the gifts that Spirit has given us to be the blessing to the world, and we are grateful. Now let us say our statement of blessing. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, and all that I give and receive. I am thankful for the abundance that is mine to give.
This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. I celebrate my abundance today by giving this gift. I show my faith as I open my heart. My world becomes a better place. I release all fears as I share readily. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself.
If you would, put your attention and your heart energy on these baskets. We bless these offerings and those that gave them, acknowledging their importance to the growth and thriving of this center and to its mission. And so it is.
Wow. This day brings me encouragement. I've missed saying this to you with you guys. Together we affirm unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one power, one presence, and one life. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your path, you are welcomed here. First-time guests, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to go out on a limb here, baristas, but I'm going to open it up here. If you are a first-time guest or someone that's been away for, say, a year, would you please raise your hand? Because we have a gift for you, as well as a... Keep your hand raised so we can give you a gift. We have one over here. Alan? Over here. And I'll step out on a limb and I'll cover it. We thank you. I have another one over here. We thank you for choosing to be with us today. We welcome you. As you can see, there's a lot of energy here, a lot of familiar energy. But we've given you a welcome packet, and in that welcome packet is a little coupon for a barista, coffee at the barista stand. You can either use it today, or if you want to choose to use it next week when you come back, that's fine. But you're welcome to join us. We also encourage everyone to sign up for our email newsletter. You can do that by scanning that QR code on your phone, or you can go to unityspokane.org and sign up there, or you can go to our website. We also would like to connect with you on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just search Unity Spiritual Center Spokane to find us. And we thank you for joining us today. Our chaplains today, of course, is Al, who's been holding the service in prayer. We also have Diane Hunter. Diane, where are you? Diane is in the back. Diane will be up front, should you have a prayer need, or just someone to just hold space or talk to. Diane will be up front that you can come to. We take prayer very seriously here. You can give a prayer request to Diane. In the seat pocket in front of you, you can fill out a prayer request. Those requests are prayed for here locally by our chaplains, as well as sent to Unity Worldwide, where they are prayed for there for 30 days. So please, by all means, don't hesitate to leave us a prayer. Okay, so now it's Deanna with news you can use.
Can't wait. There's nothing I love more than speaking to a whole bunch of people and online.
Use the microphone, please.
It's here. I'll speak louder. I just wanted to remind everybody about our midday meditations, which are at noon on Tuesdays. Those are continuing. Everyone is welcome to attend. There is no cost for them necessarily, but you are welcome to leave a love offering if you attend those midday meditations. So we welcome you to come here during the week and spend some time at noon in prayer and meditation. We have a new event. Ooh, hold on, I forgot my other clicker. There it is. New event here that you may have seen in e-news this week. We have a baseball game scheduled with the Spokane Indians that we have group tickets for. We have 40 group tickets right now. So as soon as those are gone, then you can still get tickets, but you may or may not sit with our group. So make sure you get those. The event is on Tuesday, August 13th, and the game time is 6:35 p.m. Lots of details in e-news and a link to get those tickets. So make sure you check that out. I did get the fancy seats this time, so they have like the armrests and the cushy back, and there's less traversing stairs, so, you know. No benches. And the next one, we would love to invite you today to stay after the service to honor longtime congregant and amazing volunteer and library dedicated volunteer Jane Giesel with a bench dedication in the garden at 11:45 a.m., followed by looking at coming to the library and a naming of the library in her honor. And then we'll have some light refreshments in the fellowship hall following that. So I'd love to have as many of you as possible stay to enjoy that and honor Jane's life and her dedication to this center. And now I'd like to invite up Rick and I think Jeff as well for a board update as promised.
Well, good morning. My name is Mr. Reverend Clare Austen. You can call me Rick, though. So I am your current board president, and I'm joined by Jeff Taney, my fellow board member. And as promised, the board wants to keep you updated on our financial situation and our spiritual path going forward. First, wasn't that a great talk? Claire talked about change. Talked a lot of stuff. I love the bee stuff. That was great. But change, or metathesophobia. Does anyone know what that is? Metathesophobia. It's the fear of change, okay? Like they say, change is scary, but what I say is if you're afraid of change, leave it in the jar or leave it in the offering basket. Because we need your help right now. We are having financial difficulties. And again, I'd like to ask all of you for help. Any increase in tithing or giving would be very much appreciated. Also, if you're not already an automatic donor, please consider doing so. When you auto give, like when you receive direct deposit from your employer, it allows you to see the money coming in and to know what's going to be expected in the future. Deanna needs that. She needs to know what's coming in. So, again, if you're not an automatic giver, see Deanna after the service or anytime, and she'll help you set that up. The other thing I want to talk about, I myself and other board members have been asked about having to let Bonnie go. Most of you realize that we received a large bequest from Jane Giesel, who we're going to honor after this service. And the question has been, why couldn't we keep Bonnie and help our financial situation using those monies that she donated? Here's the explanation. Jane specifically left that bequest to the Unity Center Foundation, not our operating budget. The foundation is very specific in terms of how that money can be used. It's to safeguard our sanctuary, our physical building. And we as a church can request from the foundation board, which has its own bylaws, we can ask for up to 5% of that money each year to help with roof repairs or replacement or replace the windows. But it's very specific how it's used. There is another provision in there in which we could borrow interest-free up to 10%. But again, the requirements are very specific in how it's used. Okay? So I just wanted to clarify that. Moving on, as far as our spiritual path going forward, the board, we just met the other night, and we are establishing what we're calling a transition committee, and they will be assigned the responsibility to come up with 3 very specific teams. Finance, pretty obvious. Sunday services in coordination. Who's speaking next? Who's bringing goodies? So there'll be that team as well, along with the youth center team. We feel it's critical right now with our hiring freeze, our fiscal freeze limiting how much money we could spend. The youth center needs our attention and our help. So we've already selected the team chairs, and from there they'll establish their own goals, their purpose, their mission, and select members from this congregation to serve on those 3 teams. And with that, I'm going to let Jeff talk more about that.
Thank you, Rick. So when we gathered 9 months ago in this building for 2 days of creating our mission statement, there was 60 to 80 people here that were part of creating that mission. And over the months, it's been dwindling. And we don't know why. So part of the reason for the teams, the transitions teams, is to try to look at what we can do to improve the center, what we can do to get back to the mission. Because obviously there was a lot of you wanting to have input in the mission. And so that is part of the reason for doing that. And we're going to do it a little bit different in that we may talk to people or have people be a part of the team that maybe has nothing to do with family ministry or Sunday services or whatever. And that's because the intention behind that is we want to look outside, get some fresh ideas, some new perspectives, things that we may not have thought about in the past. So that's part of the reason. I believe, this is my personal, so I'm not going to project this on anybody, but it's my belief that the unity message, and I'm so glad that Claire went back and talked about that, that message is too important to lose. We talk about change and transition, but we also have to think about the next generation, my grandkids. I want a different world for my grandkids than what we have today. And I believe in my heart that the unity message contains that. The unity mission, the unity movement contains that. And we need to get that message out. And what is our legacy here as Unity Spiritual Center? Is our legacy the unity message, or is it something else? So I'm projecting my own personal beliefs on that, but that is kind of where I'm coming from, and I believe that in a lot of you as well. So we'll be reaching out. Those of us that are the chairs, we'll be reaching out and letting you know. And I do want to. We've got the kids coming in. Did you have anything else that you wanted?
One closing.
Oh, yep, go right ahead.
In closing, for the kids, I just wanted to let you know that we are going to hold a town hall meeting, as promised. We won't be able to do that until July 7th. Today, obviously, we're celebrating Jane. Next week is the barbecue at the North Church, celebrating all 3 Unity churches, Coeur d'Alene, North, and this church. So the next available Sunday would be July 7th. So that's when we'll do that. And did you have anything else?
Yeah, no, I was going to actually pitch the barbecue next Sunday after services at Unity North. All right.
And Bonnie will be speaking.
Yeah, Bonnie's speaking at Unity North in the early, but we want to make sure this is a unifying, maybe a uni-healing opportunity for us at Unity North, and so we want to make sure we participate and show our support. Okay, I think our kids are out there. I hear stirring. All right, kids. Do I have a spokesperson? Lucy? Come on up, Lucy. Tell us what you guys did today.
So we planted some bean plants, and we learned about other plants and how to take care of them.
Awesome. And I think you have a sample here of what you guys did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I understand you had a special guests in there today, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us who they were?
Well, so they
Was Annalisa?
yeah, they were making Lisa and Katie.
Katie and Annalisa were here. Annalisa is one of Katie's friends that taught the kids, was teaching the kids about permaculture. There you go. And I want to give a shout out. We were looking for special cups yesterday, and I went to Panda Express, and I want to thank Mohammed at Panda Express for donating cups that could be used for that endeavor. So I think it's important that we support those businesses and that sort of thing. All right, so together we want to give our children's blessing. Be the love you are, sing the song you hear, share your joy of life with people far and near. And for ourselves, be the love we are, sing the song we hear, share our joy of life with people far and near. All right. Thank you, kids. You may return to those that brought you. And I'm going to ask everyone to please stand as we say our prayer of protection, followed by the peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and that's the truth.